Hey, 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 you're now tuned in to Underdog Talk. I'm your host, Eric Jones Jr., and I have conversations with successful underdogs. And today, we have my man, Skypp. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me, family.
I'm
For sure.
happy that you, in your busy schedule, said you could do it. Wrote you, you said, boom, we set the date, and we here. So, before we get into today's conversation, today's episode is brought to you by Christian Dewan. That's me and my son's clothing line. We have t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts. We also have the Underdog official podcast merch. We got t-shirts and hoodies. You use the promo code Underdog Talk, and Underdog is spelled UNDDAWG Talk. You get 15% off at ChristianDewan.com. So, my man's is a rapper. He's not just a rapper, but he's an artist from Indianapolis, here where we're at. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I really don't listen to Indianapolis rappers. I don't know why. They all similar, sound the same. So I checked his album out, and his new album, Sorry for My Trauma, is fire. Like, no bullshit, not hyping him because he here. It's actually fire. Like, it's got substance. My favorite song, I like Indigo just because I remember riding buses.
Yeah.
And I like Hunger on the East Side. Or is it Hunger on the East Side? Or
Hungry on the east side.
Hungry on the East Side.
Yes, sir.
That's fire. You got like it's a couple bars I put on my story that was just hitting.
Yeah.
So I just want to say that album is fire.
I
So
appreciate that.
I did a little research. I had to. I like to look up my guests. And you started when you was in sixth grade writing rhymes.
Yeah.
So what was the incident that happened when somebody took your notebook?
Yeah, I was sitting in class. I had just transferred to a different township. I started in IPS, and I had just transferred to Warren Township. And I was still kind of fairly new, you know what I mean? And I didn't really know people. I was kind of shy, reserved. Me and my guy, we just write raps and pass them back and forth. And we was doing that one day in class, and I don't remember why the teacher left out. He left out the class, and them two girls, man, they came and grabbed my notebook, just started rapping it. And they was rapping it to where, like, no matter how good the bars was, it was trash.
Yeah.
Making fun of it and shit. So, you know what I mean? Like, I just giggled with them, you know what I mean? Laughed, took my little notebook back and kept pressing forward, bro. Like, it just motivated me to really want to. I'm allowed to cuss, right?
Yeah.
It motivated me to shit on them. I'm like, yeah, all right, well, bet. Just hold on, because I'm new to this. So, once I really get my feet wet, it's going to be on.
I love it. I love it. I remember I wrote my first freestyle when I was in sixth grade. It was me and my best friend at the time. We was on the phone. I can't remember it, but we wrote. That's when I started writing. I always say that I'm a rapper. I can freestyle. I can rap, but I don't. It just wasn't my thing. Right. But that's something that I love to do. So I kind of resonate to that young age of starting to write. So
Sure.
You started writing sixth grade. When did it get serious? When did you was like, all right, I'm really gonna try this out. I'm going to, become a rapper.
I met my guy, Wood, his big Wood. Back then, he was Woogie. I met him my freshman year, and he was, like, on the same type stuff. Like, he could rap real good, but he had never really put it out there. So I think somebody had us battle rap, because I came from one middle school, he came from another. We didn't know each other, but we was the rappers from those two middle schools. So my guy was like, yeah, I should battle rap. And we battle rap. He remembered it vividly. I don't really remember it. And then he said first he killed me, then I came back and killed him, and then by the end of it we was shaking up and we was friends, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We made a rap group. When we made that rap group, it's like we boosted each other's confidence. Like, it's different when you rapping by yourself, but when you got somebody else there, that's when we really started flourishing, bro. You know what I mean? And like, as freshmen, everybody was rocking with us. Seniors, juniors, we had people who went on to go to the NFL and stuff, and all of them was rocking with us from the get-go. So that's when I knew, like, yeah, we got something. So we carried that all throughout high school, man, just like straight superstar status in our high school. So that's when I knew, man. When I graduated, I wasn't going to college. I mean, I'm going to press forward with this music.
I love it. So what was your rap name? And what was your first rap name? Or was this your first rap name?
Well, Skypp was always my public name. Like, when I wasn't really rapping publicly, I had other rap names. Like, I think my first rap name was in sixth grade was B-Dub, because my government name started with a B. Then I had the Assassin in like probably seventh, and by eighth grade it was Ripper, the PLP. PLP stood for Punchline Prince. This was back when Cassidy and them
Yeah,
had the punchlines
yeah.
going crazy, so I wanted to be a punchline rapper. And then I finally was like Skypp, and that just stuck with me. Like people never forgot that name, and I like how I spelled it. You know, it was different, so I just stayed with that. I felt like it was a good name.
Oh, okay. So what was y'all rap? Did y'all come up with a rap
Yeah,
name?
we got it. Our rap. His name was Woogie back then. He's Big Woog now. 2 G's in the big, WOOG. But our rap name was Wise Click. Wise WYZE and then CLIK. And we released probably 4, 5 mixtapes, somewhere between 4 and 5. I know I released one solo. That's a part of that 4 to 5. But yeah, Wise Click, man. We were so popular, man, in the city. It's crazy.
So this is when you in high school, you part of a clique, y'all rapping good. So when you graduated, you say you weren't going to college. Like where did you see yourself? Did you see yourself signing a deal? Was that the goal? What was the goal after you graduated to where you was going to take your rap career in your mind?
I was just young and ignorant, bro. I don't know what I thought was gonna happen, but it didn't happen that way. You know what I mean? I was able to like get a momentum going. Don't get me wrong, but I thought it was gonna be like, boom, I got freedom. I'm about to be a mega star. Like the city already loved me. It wasn't like that. I did great, but the money and all that, it ain't like that in Indianapolis. You got to get out of here to do that, and I didn't have the money to get out of here. So I was doing my thing, man, but I probably would have benefited doing that thing in college, where there's, you know what I mean, where it's a world of people that's like me.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like a lot of people got their fan bases in college or going to college towns. So I kind of regretted a little bit not going for at least a year or two. But I did my thing, man. I really did, and I did want to get a record deal. I just wanted whatever was gonna put some food in the fridge, honestly, bro. Whatever would it took, you know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah, I feel you on that, and I understand what you're saying with college. I went to college. I'm a 2-time college dropout, so I wouldn't just have fun. But I understand what you're saying. Like the college town, like it was dudes that came from Gary. They rapping, they doing shows.
Yeah.
They was hot there. You know, it's a college town, so you do benefit off that, or being signed to like the big parties of that. So I understand where you're coming from.
Sure.
We do sometimes miss out that opportunity by not just going to college.
Right.
Sometimes we go to college and, like I said, I went there, party, had fun, and got out. But sometimes you go to network. And I told my buddy, we was talking like maybe a month ago, and I was like, man, we missed out on a lot of opportunities, like networking with the right people in college. Because you see what they doing now, and it's like they're a little further, or they connected with other people, where that's the big thing is about networking. So things didn't work out how you wanted, but you kept going because you've been rapping for a while. So what was your first big song that got notarized maybe outside of here in Indianapolis?
I mean, well, like I was saying, man, it didn't work out how I thought it was, but it worked out how it probably should have, like realistically. So I graduated in 2010. By 2011, I had an album out, written and directed, which did really good, and I had started something called Skypp Saturdays, which was probably my claim to fame. So Skypp Saturdays was a weekly freestyle series on SoundCloud, and like I did that for so long, bro, years, bro. You know what I mean? And over the years, like I ended up inviting all these people who went on to be like big artists. Y.E. Ali. I mean, I had some with a lot of people, and that was really my claim to fame. And that was basically straight out of high school. So I was doing my thing, like I said, but I just didn't have. I didn't get rich like I thought I was gonna get rich. Like I'm like, oh, when I get from under my mama's wing, bro, I'm gonna take off, bro. Like I'm gonna have all the money, all the fans. It just didn't work out that way. But like I said, it's people who looked up to me in that time period, bro. I was really doing some dope things, bro. I just wasn't getting much money out of it. So I'm grateful, you know what I mean? And it led me to where I am today. So I can't complain. You know, it's people who will look at me complaining and be like, fool, back then, around that time, I was wishing I could be you. You know what I mean? So I ain't going to be ungrateful. I'm just talking about financially, bro. You know what I mean? It was a struggle. I ended up having to get in the streets to get some money, still doing my rap thing and whatnot, but I just needed some money, bro. Like, and I couldn't work a job and work as hard as I was rapping, so I ended up jumping in the streets, and then, you know, it's just, you know how life goes.
Yeah, things happen. And I understand that, because when I was in college, like, moms couldn't send no money, no care package, and it was like, okay, we get these little jobs that they got, but we start, you know, hitting the streets in college because, like, in college you gonna make some money. So
Yeah.
I understand that. Luckily, I didn't get in trouble. Just a couple of the guys did, but I didn't, get in trouble. And I didn't do it for too long. I just did it to make it. But sometimes in our environment, we gotta do what we gotta do.
Show that.
Definitely to go after our dreams and goals. So you rapping, you got things going. You go through, you start hustling. And any point in there, is it like you take a left because life actually happened, or were you able to just keep going and going through your process?
Pretty much my whole life I've been able to keep going, bro. Ain't nothing ever really just totally threw me off except when my best friend died. And that was in 2011 also. He died on the day my first album released.
Damn.
So that really threw me for a loop. But it did also motivate me, you know what I mean, to go hard with the music because he was like, he had went to IU School of Business, Kelly School of Business to do for management. He was going to be my manager. You know what I mean? He had been there from day one since middle school. So, you know what I mean? That was the plan, you know what I mean? So when he passed away, I'm like, damn, I got to do this for bro, you know what I mean? I got to, ain't no other option. So that's really the only thing in my life that's happened that really threw me for a loop. Other than that, bro, I can really handle just about anything. Like, losing him was the worst of the worst for me.
Yeah.
So I've already experienced the worst. Only thing worse than that is me dying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we ain't gonna put that in the atmosphere. But I've been able to push through, bro. I watched my buddies go fed, get locked up, go to federal prison, bro, for the same things I was doing for the most part, besides like the extra stuff. But I was blessed to never get caught up, and I just always stayed low key. I understood that music came first. I was in the streets, but the streets, you know what I mean? I wasn't of the streets.
Yeah.
So they was of the streets. I never took it that far. I kept my one foot in rap, one foot in the streets, because I knew what my priorities was. And when it finally went south for everybody else, that's when I knew, like, it's time for me to get out of this, because I'll be next. So, you know what I mean? I was cautious. I was smart about it. You know what I mean? I moved a certain way, and it just worked out for me. God bless. My buddy J.E. used to always tell me, like, you in the streets, only two ways it can end. You're going to die or you're going to go to prison, bro. And I'm blessed to say I didn't have to die or go to prison in the streets, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel you on that because the same way with me, none of my guys got no time for that, but they got time for other stuff. Cause I remember we used to do certain stuff, and my guy be like, man, Eric always say, man, we shouldn't be doing this. It just didn't feel right, and I knew we all had a bigger purpose. We just didn't know what it was. And that does happen. Like here, I'm not from Indianapolis, but I grew up here as an adult. So you guys have a lot of, it's bigger, and people lose friends to violence and stuff. I fortunately haven't lost like close friends, like people I knew, but no, none of my homies have passed from violence or anything. So I know that had to hurt, like losing your best friend on the day your album dropped. Like
I done lost over 30, bro, over 30 friends. As far as close friends, bro, like probably 3 close friends, a best friend, and like 2 or 3 close friends, but other than that, like, it still hurt. If my regular friends, you know what I mean? Like, it hurt the same. It still hurt. Yeah. You feel me? That's too many people to be losing, though, bro.
Yeah.
Way too many people. Like, it don't make no sense for real.
Nah, it don't. It sucks that happens. Like, just seeing on the news every day, seeing people pass away because of the lives. We could say the lives people choose, but some of it is lives that chose us. Like, we've been in situations. Yeah. Or you live somewhere, you got to defend yourself, and that sucks. So you not grew up, but you were in that environment. But the album I listened to, I haven't listened to your old ones. That's the next step, is to listen to the older albums, because I was watching the interview and the guy was talking about, I forgot when the interview was. It might have been a year or two ago, and there was an album out. So what is like your process when it comes to doing the album? You've been doing it for a while. Has it changed up? Do you punch in? Do you write? Like, what process, like, if somebody, which is a lot of people that want to be rappers, what is your process, or what is the process to coming up with a hot song?
I can't think back on how it was in the past, but I can imagine it was pretty similar to what it is now. I always just start off making a whole lot of music. I had no direction, no intention, just making music, bro. And by the time I get to like 30 or 40 songs, I'll stop and try to find a sound that's common, something that's cohesive. Mm-hmm. So I'll like probably pick out like 5, 6 songs, you know what I mean? And just like try to figure out what I'm talking about in those 5, 6 songs and what's the common theme. Feel me? Like, what am I saying in these 5 or 6 songs that's kind of similar? And I'll take that theme and I'll just keep molding it down until I come up with like a title, something that like represents all 5 or 6 of those songs. And then the rest of the album I'll create to that theme, and it'll complement those 5 or 6 songs. That's usually how I've been doing it for like the past 3 albums. Before that, I really couldn't tell you how I was doing it. My memory is like, I don't even remember high school. My memory is like that. I do so much in my life, bro. I just be forgetting stuff that happened in the past because it's just so much. My brain can't handle all that. You know what I mean? But that's usually how my process go.
I like that. I like how you said you put a bunch of songs and you come up with the theme off of a certain amount. Because I've always like wanted to do, before I go, I definitely want to do a mixtape just to say I did one, because that's something that I like to do in my free time. So I was just wondering, because I remember I actually recorded like 3 songs, right? And I'm a freestyler. And even when it comes to like speeches, anything I do, really, I can come off the top of the dome.
Sure.
So I go in, my boy, he like, all right, this is, name of the song. He like, no. I'm like, what? He's like, no. Because when you freestyle, sometimes you go off a topic. So he's like, you got to write it down. And that took me forever. And I hated it, erasing and going back. Yeah. But I understood the process of it. So I was just wondering, like, to ask, because you're my first artist that I've interviewed. I think out of all the people I've interviewed, now we interviewed at least over 100 people. So you're the first person that's like an actual artist that make music. I'm sure other people got talent. So I was just wondering with that. So when you first, because you've been on iTunes Top 10 a few times. So when it first happened, what was your reaction to your album being in the top 10 on iTunes?
Yeah, this is my first time in the top 10. My last 2 reached top 15. The first time, I want to say it was my album You For You in 2019. That reached top 40. I think it was like 33 was the highest it went. When that happened, it was unintentional. Like these last 3 or 4 albums, it was intentional. This one was unintentional. I just dropped the album like I always do. Wanted to run the numbers up, sell CDs. But we got a notification from our distributor, and the distributor was like, You For You was, what did it say, spotted in the top 40 on iTunes. So I'm like, what? First, we went and checked Apple Music, because iTunes kind of like, people don't even realize it's still a thing. So we looking at Apple Music, and I'm like, nah, bro, I'm not in the top 40, bro. Like, what is they talking about? And then my manager was like, well, try iTunes. And I'm like, iTunes don't exist no more, bro. Like, it's Apple Music now. He's like, well, I see an app on my phone. So we went there, and that's where it was. And I was like, okay, so what is this app? I start studying the app. I'm like, okay, this is where you buy the music. You listen to it in Apple Music, whether you buy it in iTunes and go to Apple Music, or whether you just got an Apple Music, what's it called, subscription. Mm-hmm. You listen in Apple Music regardless. So when I saw that, I started telling people like, hey, y'all, go buy the album, just seeing what they would do. And my closest people and my biggest supporters went and bought it, and I just moved up, and I'm like, so next time I drop the album, this is what we pushing. We pushing sales, because I know I'm not gonna be able to compete with the big dogs on Apple Music. My streams, I got to get at least 500,000 streams to compete with them. Yeah. I can't do that right now as an independent, but I can do this. So that's what I did for the next album. 2020 was the Ghetto Mr. Rogers. Yeah. That one was my first one in the top 15, and I was like, okay, I done figured it out. Now I know how to get in front of the big dogs, like, because you better believe they checking them charts like I'm checking them charts. They want to know where they at too, and so is they Kemp, so is they label. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I did that with the Ghetto Mr. Rogers. King of Indiana didn't sell as good as the Ghetto Mr. Rogers, which I was really upset about, because like I like to go upward. Yeah. King of Indiana, I felt like was a better album, but it was pure hip hop. Yeah. And this city does not gravitate towards pure hip hop. So Ghetto Mr. Rogers was more melodic. So then I told myself, I said, all right, on this next one, I'm gonna go ahead and give them melodics. For a lot of other reasons, I did melodics too, but that was one of the reasons. And look at it, you know what I mean? It debuted at number 6. Yeah. So from here, we got to go number 1. So I'm really trying to capitalize off this number 6. You know what I mean? Like, we really trying to make something happen with that.
Yeah, that's dope that you figured out like what to do. Cause sometimes people do stuff like even with podcasts, like people was just doing it, and now they realize, oh, you can sign $1 million deals, and you can do this, and you can do that, and you have to research and understand that, and that's dope that you did that.
Sure.
And yeah, that's what it was. It was Ghetto Mr. Rogers, cause I seen
Yeah.
the cover. That cover is dope.
Right on.
And that's what the guy. I think it was Speak On Media. I think that's what the
yes,
interview I was watching.
Yeah.
So
Speak on it, yeah.
that's cool that you even like are up there. Like that's not cool. Like that's super dope. Like cause you know you just drop an album and then it hit. Cause that's how it is. Like on social media, we always want to pop that video that's gonna go viral. Then you just drop a video and that's the one that go viral, not the one you thought.
Yeah.
Just cause you was being consistent and all that. And I know you sat back and you look when this album was number 6. You're like, oh, I'm up here with the big dogs. Like, yeah. So what do you? So melodic. That means like a little music to it.
Melodic is just more like fun. Like
Fun,
melodic is usually when people get to like doing that harmony thing where they singing but not really singing. That's like melodic. Melodic is anything that's like catchy.
Okay.
Like when you listen to like
when
you listen to Jadakiss, it's no melodics, it's straight bars.
Yeah.
That's what I did on King of Indiana. I had a little bit of melodic on King of Indiana, but it was mainly bars. But when you listen to like a Drake is like one of the kings of melody, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like even though I was still giving bars on Sorry for My Trauma, like it was a couple songs where I think I did like a singing on everything, but I had songs where I would just rap and then on the hook I sing. So I tried to just have a balance because I built a hip hop fan base, so I wanted to give them something. I didn't want to just be singing the whole album. But even the stuff that I was singing, they appreciated that. You know what I mean? And I appreciated them appreciating that. But they told me, they was like, yeah, it's melodic and you singing, but you still got content, bro. Like you don't get on here singing about nothing. You singing about the struggle. You singing about growth. You know what I mean? So we can appreciate that.
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of people fail to realize, like nowadays, like everybody is kind of on a positive tip. We not really on the drama and the killing. Like we understand it happens as a part of the ghetto, as part of where you grew up, but it's like we want something more than just hard shoot 'em up. It's like, okay, we got the struggle, but I want to feel like I'm in the struggle, but I can get out the struggle from listening to somebody. And like you said, like this album, it's that one song. It's a song that I want to send to a certain lady, but I don't know what our relationship is. But I do want to send that song on that album. So when you came, what was your first like big song, like that maybe pop outside of here?
Yeah, 2012, I released a single from my 2012 album called Sophisticated Street Music. It was a single called D.O. And it was featuring Lil Billy and Lovely Ember. And that song, to this day, I ain't looked at it on YouTube, but it's somewhere in 20, 30,000, somewhere around there. That was the one. You know what I mean? Like the city went crazy behind that song. That was right there with Skip Saturdays. You know what I mean? As far as getting me through that dope, those two things, honestly. I forgot about Do. I'm glad you asked me that question, but Do that was the one, bro. That was the one.
So what kind of song was it?
It was a song for the females, like a little slight, I wouldn't say love song, but it was a little more player than that. You know what I mean? But it felt good. You know what I mean? Like feel good music always goes over well, which is why my single from this album went over so well, called My HLF. It's just like it just feel good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it got the old school kind of feel, and like I like, because I think I seen it. You had it on a video, like on maybe a reel or a TikTok, and I heard it in the background. Then when I heard the song, I was like, yeah, this is dope. So I understand what you're saying, because sometimes I'm in the mood for straight bars and trap music, but then sometimes like I might throw on some J. Cole or some Toby just to get a feel of like both parties, because I'm a big lyrical person. I don't go off. I'm not the, because your beat tight and you got a hook. If you ain't got no bars in there, I'm turning you off. I give everybody a chance though. Like even people here, like I give them a chance, and it's like If I don't like it, I don't like it. Because I listen to some different stuff. I listen to Taylor Swift a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I listen to different stuff. So when I heard the album, it definitely gives you, okay, I'm ready to go knock somebody out. But then it's like, okay, I'm ready to maybe get a little girl. And then it's like, I need to get my stuff together so I can move on. So you giving a lot to that. So what made you name it Sorry for My Trauma?
It's just the process I was telling you about. So I started with a bunch of songs, and it was just like deep, bro. Like, I don't know if that was just a stage in my life where I just wanted to get some things off my chest, but they was deep. So I took the common theme, which was trauma, and somehow I came up with that title. I can't remember how I came up with that title because I really started on this album at the end of 2021, and some stuff happened that pushed it all the way back to 2023, unfortunately. But so I don't remember that, but I just know that I had a bunch of music talking about trauma, not just regular, like deep. Like some of the vital songs on this album was already wrote in 2021. So I just went through my process, you know what I mean? Just got those bulk of songs, and that was the common theme. That title though, I love that title. I don't know how I came up with that title, but I love that title, bro.
Yeah, and the album cover tough. What's your favorite song off the album?
Right now, it's probably Self-Sufficient. Right now, last week it was Lost from Lost. It changes, bro. It literally changes every week. Sometimes every day.
Yeah, I feel.
But I just appreciate different stuff because it's my life. You know what I mean? Like I'm talking about my life, so some days I might like a love song the most. You know what I mean? Like it's all my life, so I can relate to all of it.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that where it changes. So, how many total albums do you got? Because I feel like you, I read or heard that you like dropped the album almost. It was almost every year. Almost you were trying to drop an album. So, how many albums would you say that you have done, and what would you say besides this one? What is your favorite one to date?
We talking about like mixtapes included?
Yeah, you since yep.
All right. I need you to help me count. My first project was 2009.
Mm-hmm.
I dropped one. I dropped two in 2009. That's two. I dropped Rise and Shine in high school with Wise Click. I dropped They Sleeping on Us, Rise and Shine, The Rude Awakening. I dropped those three in high school. 2010, I dropped Stuck in Reality. 2011, Written and Directed. 2012, Sophisticated Street Music. 2011, I dropped a collab also with Lil Billy, Break Another Rapper. 2013, we dropped Break Another Rapper 2. I took a break. 2014. 15, Humility. 16, Jaffe. 17, Jaffe 2. 18, 10th. 19, You for You. 20, The Ghetto Mr. Rogers. 2021, King of Indiana. And then I dropped King of Indiana B-sides. And then this.
So that's like 24, 25.
You counted that many?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Shit. That's crazy.
Because you had like 5, you had like, you're in the 20s at least.
That's crazy. And I feel like I left something out. That's the crazy part. I might have. I don't know. But
So
yeah.
which one is your favorite one that you done?
I'm gonna give you my three. I'm gonna give you my top three because it's gonna be impossible to say.
Yeah.
First of all, Sorry for My Trauma has to go up there. Like my latest work is usually my best work.
Yeah.
Only time that wasn't the case was one time. I'm gonna throw Sophisticated Street Music in there, which was 2012, and I'm gonna throw a mixtape in there. I'm gonna throw in Great Another Rapper 2, Part 2. Those are probably my three favorite bodies of work from myself.
And why? So I know why this one, because it's your newest work. Why are those other two up there?
Sophisticated Street Music was the one that solidified me as an artist. Skip Saturdays was freestyles. Like everybody knew I had bars. Skip got bars. All the ciphers, I was in every cipher from Skip Saturdays. That did it all. But when I dropped that album, they was like, oh, he's an artist. He can make music, bro. He's not just a rapper. He's not just bars. He can make music. So Sophisticated Street Music just solidified me. And it's actually a good album. I mixed and mastered it myself. You know what I mean? Like, it was just a great album, bro. Like, you gotta check it out. It's on SoundCloud. It was on iTunes back in the day, but I had to pull it down when I signed this management deal because I had a lot of samples in it. And my manager was just like, nah, man, like, you can get sued for that.
Yeah.
So I took it down off iTunes, but it's on SoundCloud. Great Another Rapper 2, that's on Dat Piff. That was back in,
they don't know about
that
Piff.
was back in that day.
They don't know.
It's still on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like Great Another Rapper 2 was a collab with my guy Lil Billy, which he did a lot for me as far as like just rapping with him. You know what I mean? Like he had the streets. I had a big fan base, but it wasn't. I had some of the streets,
Yeah.
but he had all of the streets. So when we came together, he got like my sophisticated crowd, my college crowd, and I got his street crowd, and that really just boosted both of us up even higher. So that's why I enjoy that one, and it's a good mixtape. You know what I mean? But yeah. And then, sorry for my trauma. Even though it is my latest work, I do feel like it's my best. Like I can go back and look at King of Indiana and the Ghetto Mr. Rogers and be like, those were dope for its time, but they not my best. But this one, like genuinely, it's just so deep and it's so personal and it's so musical, bro. It really is my best by far. You know what I mean? I just love how I'm able to keep raising the bar.
Yeah, I feel that way like with my speaking. Like I go back and look at my first videos. I was in the basement of a townhouse we had, and I'm looking scraggly and just looking at the videos. But then now looking at how clear and then having a mic and just the message is different. Like every time you grow, you go, your next album probably gonna be better than this one. I ain't gonna lie, this is one that like you can play and not really skip a song.
Yeah, that's what people keep telling me. They was like, bro, skip, this ain't got no skips.
Yeah, like
putting the play on
like
words.
for real, like, cause I think for me, I'm the type of person, I like a song and I'll listen to that song until I know all the words, and then I might forget some songs on the album. Cause I was listening I've been listening to it for a couple days, and so I was listening and I was like, oh, I heard this, but I ain't really listen to it.
Right.
So I had to listen to, and this the crazy thing, no music. This the only music I've listened to this month, even though it just started. I said I'm not gonna listen to music, listen to podcasts, but I was like, I got you, and I got Ace, Born to Win. He coming on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I kind of know him, been listening to his music and stuff like that, but I'm like, I gotta listen to their music if I'm gonna have them on here just to fill them out. And when I was listening, I was like, yeah, this is a not skip, like for real. Like
that's called a classic.
Yeah.
That's what the definition of a classic is to me, like something that ain't got no skips and something that stands the test of time.
Yeah.
That's what my definition of a classic is.
Cause you got everything with it. You got the where you can ride and bump it. You got I can have my lady in the car. I can be riding and really thinking deep of how I want to do life. So it does have all that in there. And
let's talk about the music a little bit. I don't know how much you remember, you know what I mean? But let's get into it. Let's talk about it. See if we can get the people to really go take the time out to listen.
Yeah. So for me, when I first listened to it, I was like, oh, okay, this beat. I like this beat. It was Ghetto Child's the first song.
Right.
And I was like, oh, he's saying some stuff. And then, so I'm listening to it. I'm like, okay. And then when it got to Indigo, it really hit because I used to really have to take the bus because I was out east. My cousin lived in Geist, so they had to drop me off on 38th and Post. I had to take that bus all the way downtown to get on the bus to go the closest I could get to Avon to meet my friend. I used to do this every weekend. And then when I was a kid, when I was a shorty, I used to have to ride the bus. So that hit, and it's catchy. Yeah. It's like, okay. And then it make you think about where you started off. Everybody didn't start off with car. Everybody didn't start off where they at. So it make you go back. And then the Hungry on the East Side, that's bars. Like, that's, like, it's a part on there, man, I can't even think of what, but it's like I put it in my story. You just went in, and I was like, okay. So I kept listening, and every song on there is like a hot song. It got a nice beat. It ain't all shoot 'em up, bang, bang, and none of that. It ain't the typical rap album that you listen nowadays. It's not the sound like it. But it don't sound like people, but the tone of certain songs, it made me think of certain people. Right. I thought of Future on there. I think even Pop Smoke, a song like, not like the way your voice was changing, because you don't got it ain't the same song every time. It ain't the same kind of beat. It's really different beat, different song, different energy every song that gets you in a different mood, but you don't even wanna you play it, put it somewhere where you ain't gonna skip and you gonna get stuff done. That's my opinion of it. Like I would say, out of all the artists that I've listened to in that's the best work that I've listened to, where it don't sound like everybody else. I think that's part of people's problem. It sound like everybody else. Like if you hear a Detroit song, you know it's instantly Detroit.
Absolutely.
If you hear certain songs, but like I was saying, I was telling you, like when you think of Indiana, you don't really. Who do you think of when you think of, besides yourself, in Indiana? Besides the big great names that we got.
You talking about a sound or a person?
A person. Like who do you like? Who would you say is from Indiana that's like?
Nah, we ain't got that. I think of songs. I don't think of people though, cause we ain't had that.
Yeah.
Like I think of Jiggly. I think of Ice Cold by Swole. Like these are staples of like, you know what I mean, of hip hop music in Indianapolis. Jimmy Mack, We Raw. You know what I mean? We got a lot of songs. What's that? Naptown Riders.
I'm not from here, so I never caught the wave of it. Cause we had a couple people from up north. I'm from Michigan City, so we had one dude. His name was Mag. He had a song. He got on BET, you know, and then we had a couple other people in Gary, but we never really had that vibe. Even though people rap, cause up north you sound like Chicago. So yeah, your album is different. Like if you from Indiana, you might not even know that you from Indiana unless they know where you talking about. So I definitely give his album a try. Like go listen to it, grab it on iTunes because it's definitely something to listen to. I ain't going like it's some of them albums that's at the top ain't that good. That's better than his. I'm just saying because some people.
I mean, being up there is a blessing in itself, bro. Understand they got machines behind them. My machine is my supporters. You know what I mean? They got like millions of dollars marketing money, and for me to be up there with them, bro, like I don't think people realize how dope that is. Like a lot of people, they try to look over it, but you know, I'm blessed, bro. I really am, man. My supporters are the best. I told my guy, cause he like, man, why don't you be getting the same amount of listens as other Naptown artists? Like we got some Naptown artists who they be hitting like 500,000 and stuff. They be like, why don't you get them kind of numbers? And I'm like, bro, listen, I'd rather have 1,000 supporters than 10,000 fans. Fans are gonna listen to your music. Supporters are gonna buy, and I guarantee 1,000 sales bring me 10 times more money than 10,000 streams. You know what I mean? 10 times more money. So I'm cool with my little loyal fan base. You feel me? If I can build a fan base like this in every major city, it's on, bro. Yeah. So that's my goal. I ain't trying to reach everybody. I'm just trying to reach the people that's willing to support. For sure. That's facts. You ain't supposed to reach everybody. Everybody ain't your audience. And like you said, you want those supporters. You don't want, fans, because hearing that, I'm not from that, but I get this vibe from that. It's cliques. It's like you got to know people. If you don't know people, they don't really rock with you. If you look or sound different, they might not. Because you don't, like, I'm being so serious. I see people put out music or I see the videos, and I'll be like, man, they all sound the same. Like, everybody want to shoot each other up, rob each other, all this stuff. It's like, okay, it's 2023. There's still gangs. We're still doing this. Like, we can't still be doing this type of stuff to rap about it, and then we get mad when Lil Man gets shot because he was beefing with such and such. Right. It's the music we put out, and we got to think about the music, because this album I could let my kids listen to. Like, my son, he listen to rap, but his favorite song is What Up by PBN Nuck. And it's a cuss word every song, and I'm like, oh my God, bro, like, no, we can't listen to that. They was listening to NBA Youngboy, my son in 2nd grade, my nephew in 3rd, the song Pussy on Me, put it on. I'm like, hold on, put what on you? And I'm like, that's not the music that we can't like say, oh, you can't listen to music. That would be wrong, because I love music since I was a shorty, but you got to put the right music in front of them. And even like them being kids, you still got to let them listen to rap. You got to let them listen to hip hop, but you got to let them listen to the right. So, freestyling, right? You said you was in battles. What's your record? No, I wasn't really. I did probably 2 battles my whole life. 2 battles. So, in a cipher, ciphers is different. So, a cipher is like, okay. It's a little circle, and they one by one, and they rap,
Can you remember your best cipher or the cipher where the crowd just was like, oh
Yeah,
shit.
for sure. My best one was what was it called? I know my guy DJ D Nice. He was the one who was running it. I can't remember. Naptown Cipher. I think it was just called Naptown Cipher. And I think we was volume 2 maybe. And Naptown Stand Up Cipher. That's what it was called. And it went crazy, bro. Like it went crazy, bro. That's the one that was around that same era, 2011, 2012. One of those ones that just took me over the top. Like people come up to me to this day, like, bro, that cipher, bro. I think it got like 20,000 views or something, and that's a lot for Indianapolis. So
Yeah,
if 20,000 people watched it, trust me, everybody in Indianapolis that's black and in the music scene has seen it.
Yeah.
So they just like, man, I still remember that cipher you did, man. So that was probably the one. I was 19 years old. You know what I mean? Like, and then I had another one I did recently, actually, on my King of Indiana press release run, and I did that one, and I went crazy on that one too.
That's dope. So, who are your top 3 dream guests on the album, or that you would want to work with? No matter the genre of music, who is your top 3 that you would want to work with if you could? And why?
But J. Cole is probably my favorite hip hop artist, besides Tupac. Tupac #1. I don't want to say both of them because they the same genre, so I'm gonna say one. I'm gonna take Pac over Cole. Actually, take that back. It'd be Pac. I would do one with this is tough. Lauryn Hill. Imagine Pac and Lauryn Hill on the same song, bro. I wish that could have happened.
That would have been too deep. That would have been too deep for folks.
Facts. And I'm gonna go with. Let me see. That's tough. I might have to go with damn. I don't know, bro. I might have to go with Cole, bro. Cole, Pac, and Lauryn Hill. And I don't give. When people ask me my favorite rappers and singers, I forget Lauryn Hill a lot. I'm glad I just remembered her. Yeah, for sure. Her and J. Cole, Pac, and Lauryn Hill. That would be my 3, for sure.
See, you was good until I was Biggie over Pac, and this is the craziest thing.
I love Biggie, bro.
I never liked West Coast rappers until Nipsey, The Game. I don't know why.
That's the thing, bro. Pac never gave me a West Coast vibe. Like when you listen to like
he don't.
West Coast
don't,
people, they sound super West Coast.
Yeah.
Pac never was. He never sounded like a West Coast artist. He just sounded like worldwide appeal. Like
when you go back and listen to him,
because he's from the East Coast, so he had a little bit of that in his music, like with the samples and stuff. But I don't know, like I just never got the West Coast got a drum pattern that's very like it's very obvious.
Yeah,
I never heard that on the Pac song, like that shit Nipsey and Snoop and them do. I ain't never heard that.
You got a point there. I don't know why. I think I just never listened to him. I don't know.
Nah, Biggie hard, bro. And I ain't gonna lie, it was a point in my teenage years where I listened to Biggie more than Pac, because I love bars too, bro. So I mean, Biggie is my guy. Don't get it twisted, but I'm more of a soulful guy, bro. Like it's just certain songs Pac made that just touched me, bro. And honestly, Biggie never really touched me like that. He just made me be like,
Yeah, he had them bars, and I could feel that because I listened to Pac as I got older. I definitely would say J. Cole is like my GOAT. Jay-Z is there, but J. Cole, I could relate to him more because he went to college.
Yeah.
He was like the kid you grew up with in your neighborhood, but he just had bars. That's kind of how you got that. You ain't really seem like when I'm looking and I'm like, okay, you don't really seem like, you know, the typical kind of rapper, tough guy type thing. And then you don't have to be. And I think people fail to realize that. You can still have those kind of bars and that kind of music and don't have to look like it or seem like you got to be hard. I don't know why that's a thing to look hard, because you could get knocked out by the littlest person and they look like they couldn't pick up a table. So I just don't be understanding that. But yeah, so that would be each person. I could see you and J. Cole, you and Lauryn Hill, you like in an individual song. That would be dope. So J. Cole, I don't know if he's still rapping. He make beats. We can see what we can do. You know, I'm gonna make a clip and put that part in there. Like, hey, J. Cole, man, check out my mans.
For sure.
So, what is your goal with this album? Have you ever went on tour?
I did tour dates with Babyface. I did a lot of dope shows. I did a lot of big shows. I'd never been on my own tour where I headlined or where I was the featured guest. No, but we did like 4 tour dates with Babyface a few years back.
Oh, that's
But
dope.
I love to go on tour, man. Like I tried to get on the tour with Benny the Butcher when King of Indiana was going crazy because it was a hip hop album. I'm really curious to hear how you match King of Indiana up to Sorry for My Trauma because you said you like bars and that's
I'm
like,
out, yeah, I'm out
when
to
I
go.
say it's nothing like Sorry for My Trauma, like it's straight East Coast sounding. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I really I accomplished my goal with iTunes. I'm hoping that translates over into Billboard. Hope I hit the Billboard chart. That's something, one of my dreams I wanted to do, and it takes you to a different level. Being on the iTunes charts is one thing. Being on Billboard is a different. You know what I mean? And I feel like once I do that, then my name will be in a conversation, or maybe multiple conversations. You know what I mean? So, man, Godspeed, bro. The sky's the limit. I don't really put limitations on myself. I don't really set goals, bro. I just do all that I can and just hope that the biggest shit possible can come from it.
I feel you on that. I feel you on that. Because sometimes when we get caught up in goals and we miss an opportunity because we're caught up in a certain goal. Right. It's like just work your ass off, keep going, being consistent. You've been consistent. All the albums you didn't drop, all the music you didn't drop, you've been consistent. And sometimes people would have gave up probably.
Yeah.
Like they would have been like, nah, it ain't really going away. I ain't really doing this. But you have a different like mindset to it. It's like I'm doing me. I'm gonna make this great because I know how talented I am. Sometimes people don't believe in themselves and they'll give up just because they didn't get that moment. A lot of successful people didn't get successful until they was later in life. And we gotta look at that. Like don't look at it like, oh, because it didn't happen the first 5 years. Okay, you would have gave up that 6 year and none of the other stuff would have happened because other opportunities happened. Sure. So, where, if you could perform, where is the top 2 places or top places you could think of right now that you would want to perform?
Man, this is another blessing. Like I already performed in Banker's Life with Babyface. That's as big as it get. Besides Lucas Oil, I performed outside of Lucas Oil. I ain't performed inside, but I mean, I would have to go if I've already done that, and I did the KFC Yum Center in Louisville, which is about the same as Banker's Life. I can't really ask for much more. The only thing I can ask for is to be in those same places, but everybody singing my shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I done did some big shows, bro. I'm blessed, man, and that's all I could really ask for, bro. Maybe like some what's the word I'm looking for? Legendary places like the House of Blues. Yeah. You know, some stuff like that. But as far as crowds, man, I didn't step in front of some huge crowds, bro. You know, I can't ask for more, bro, except for everybody coming for me instead of the headliner.
I understand. So you said earlier that you did some of your albums, earlier projects by yourself. So when you got signed to like a management, to people that could help you, how was that feeling for you after doing all the work? Like not just by yourself, I'm sure other people was close to you help, but how was that to get that help, to not have to do some of the things, and then just having people that believed in you?
Yeah, I'm grateful for that opportunity, but if I'm being honest, I still had to do a lot of the work. You know what I mean? Like he helped on some business things, which was super helpful. Don't get me wrong, but as far as the grind, I still had to put in that work myself. You know what I mean? And it's tiresome, bro. Like I'm gonna be honest, like it's been over 10 years I've been doing this, just pushing everything, like being a creative director, basically being the PR, you know what I mean, all this stuff. Like my manager, he would like handle like publishing, he'll handle my publishing stuff, which is dope, because now that I'm doing it on my own, I see how irritating it can be. You know, he did stuff like that, and everything else I had to get out the mud, bro. And that shit is, man, bro, it's so much, man. It's so much that sometimes I skip certain steps, bro, because it's just like, man, this shit is draining. And if I was like in Cali accomplishing what I'm accomplishing here, it would have been people who came along for the ride just because they know, like, yeah, we gonna get there together, and then that's when we break bread. But people like in Indianapolis, they don't have that mindset because they haven't seen that success, and it's understandable. It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna work for free, bro, because who you're not gonna make it. That's how they feel. Like you ain't about to make it, nigga. Pay me now, bro.
Yeah.
You know, we ain't gambling, but it's not. That's not the same mindset in big cities, bigger cities.
That's true.
I mean, I can't get nobody to help me, bro. I can't sit here and tell you that I got the money to pay you weekly or monthly. I did that one time with a PR. She charged me $1,000 a month. How am I supposed to pay that? I did it for 2 months. You know what I mean? Because I guess I was just able to, but I can't do that forever. That shit's crazy, bro. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to do what I can do. I had a lyric a while back. It said, "Trying to turn a little to a lot with the little that I got." That's the story of my life, bro.
Hey, listen, I feel you, cause with this podcast, with my speaking, with my clothing line, I do it all by myself, and it is tiresome. And I work a 9 to 5, which is it sucks somewhat to have to go to the 9 to 5. I'm grateful to be a teacher. I'm grateful for everything I do. But when you got a purpose and you want, and your energy, and all you thinking about is something else, it's like, man, this 9 to 5 in the way, but the 9 to 5 is helping. So I understand that grinding and getting it out the mud and just keep going and going. Because sometimes if you can give up, like you said, like here in Indianapolis, in littler cities, like people don't believe in you. And like you could go to Atlanta, you could go to a big city, and people be like, "Oh, you dope. Okay, I know somebody that could boop, boop, boop," and they'll put you in a spot to help you out. Here, it's like nobody want to help, or they somewhat hate, and it's like, why? We all could eat. Everybody can eat, B. Like it's
Facts.
like you ain't gotta be the rapper. You could be the guy the videographer. You could be the audio person. You could be the social media person. Everybody don't gotta be Michael Jordan. You could be Scottie Pippen, Paxson. You could be the coach. Whatever it is. And I think sometimes people don't want to sit in the back. They don't want to be in the back seat. They gotta be on their face gotta be on the cover. But the people that's in the back is the reason why the people in the front is doing what they doing. If you got a cold videographer and they edit the shit out your videos, that's the reason why people know you.
For sure that.
That's the reason. So that's why you, like you said, I got videographers. I'm like, man, I'm cutting this into the budget. I don't really know how. I'm putting faith in God, and I'm going to just keep working, and it's going to work out for itself. Because if you don't have faith in yourself, nobody else will. But sometimes the only faith you got is in yourself.
Facts.
So, I usually ask 3 tips. So 3 tips for people that we got, because I know some young dudes, they want to rap. What would you say for 3 tips for young people that want to get in the rap game, that's maybe got a little buzz and they want to take it a little further?
Well, step 1, which is the most important step to me, is when you do something like this, which is like a very non-traditional journey and career choice, you got to come into it leaving your emotions out of it. You can't come in this business being super emotional and feeling like people owe you and it's you against the world. That's never the case, bro. Like, you'll know when it's you against the world. It's not you against the world. You just got to earn your place. You know what I mean? And if you feel like your music is just the best shit out and everybody hating on you, then you're not in the right place, bro. You got to have patience. You got to have resilience. You need to know how to work through things and not, you know what I mean, not take it out on the people. The people are consumers. It's your job to get their attention. Leave your emotions at the door. I would say to never think local, because you got to understand that you are local. So no matter what you do, it's local. You don't have to think local if you are local. Think global. That's where you're trying to go. I said it in the lyric on Hungry on the East Side. If you can see it with your mind, you can get it with your grind. So you don't got to think about being local if you're already local. Just do you, especially when local people see you thinking global. You know what I mean? Now they really want to mess with you because everybody is going to be on your coattail. Oh, he on some global shit. You know what I mean? So think global, never think local, because you're already local. You don't got to worry about that. That's what you are. That's the bottom of the barrel. You know what I mean? So think global, and you'll be global. And make sure your business is intact. We really neglect that. I've done a lot of features with people over the years, and I'll be like, hey, what should be on my ASCAP number? You know what I mean? Like, what's your IPI, bro? So I can make sure you get your credit and that you get paid if this shit take off. And they never really got it, bro. They just be like, oh, I know about that, but I ain't really did it. Like, there ain't really no point in doing it. It's always a point in doing it. If if you go viral tomorrow accidentally, and then the whole world decides to go check out the rest of your catalog. Oh, he hard. Let me go check out everything else he ever did. Now you got 500,000 views on everything you ever released, and you ain't getting shit from it, bro, because you thought it was never gonna happen. You ain't had no faith in yourself. Now you missing out on hundreds of thousands of dollars because your business wasn't right. So it's not hard. You know what I mean? It may take a little time, but it's not hard to do. Register your songs with ASCAP or BMI or whatever society you want to use. Simple shit. Distribute your shit right. Make sure you're paying your monthly and yearly dues on whatever distributor you're using, and just handle your business, man. Don't just be putting out music for the hell of it unless you really just don't care. But if you care, handle your business. That's my 3 things. Don't leave your emotions at the door. Handle your business, and what was the other one?
Don't think just local. Think global.
Yeah, think global. No matter what you're doing, think global.
Yep, I'm that same way with thinking outside of Indianapolis. Like that's why all last year I did all virtual. Like I traveled. I tell my son, "Oh, I'm over here. I'm here. I'm here." And he's like, "How?" I'm like, "I'm virtual, but I'm really gonna be in these places." And you got to think that you got to speak what you want, and then like you said, you got to put that grind in. But the biggest thing you said, that if you don't have your paperwork, that paper ain't gonna work. Like if you don't got your stuff ready, cause I had a guy on, and he was telling me a story. He had all this stuff in order. He had all how much stuff cost. He had his paperwork, and I think it was his sister boyfriend. He was an investor. He was like, "Oh yeah, I want to invest." Because he had everything in order, he was able to get that investment and start the business. But if he didn't have everything in order, all the paperwork, dude would have been like, "Oh, you just talking. You just talking," and you miss out on opportunities because you don't have your paperwork, and you miss out on making money because you're not legal. Like, and that comes from growing up and seeing hustlers. Okay, that's cool, but you got to be a businessman. You got to be a businesswoman. You got to be a CEO. Have that paperwork. That's the most important thing when you starting a business. Don't just start a business. I usually ask people for a quote, but we're going to wait. Tell people how they can reach you on social media, all platforms. Tell them how they can reach you.
The one-stop shop is my website, officialskypp.com. That's official, SKYPP.com. If you want to get straight to social media, it's SKYPP317 on Twitter and Instagram. You know, my Facebook is just Skypp, SKYPP. You'll see the verified badge. If it ain't that, then it ain't me. You know what I mean? And TikTok, Skypp317. Everything really Skypp317 for the most part.
I love it. The album, make sure y'all go listen to it. Make sure y'all check it out. It is really dope. Like, I ain't just saying that. And anybody that know me, I am honest to a T. I will be like, I might not have been talking about the album. I might have just been talking about just having you on here if it wasn't all that. But it is really dope. Go check it out. Sorry for my trauma. I'm gonna say Hungry on the East Side is my favorite right now. And Indigo, just cause Indigo it's catchy, but it's bars.
Yeah,
it's bars in there. So you could give us a quote, a lyric, or something. It could be yours. It could be something you heard, but I need a quote from you.
Yeah, I'm gonna just reiterate 2 lines I already said, and these are like 2 things I live by. Turn a little to a lot with the little that you got. I love that bar. And also, if you can see it with your mind, you can get it with your grind. Yeah, I mean, those are my 2 quotes, and they both inspirational quotes. Like, it's telling you to go get it, and it's also telling you, you know what I mean, you can get it. Go get it because you can get it.
Yeah.
For sure that.
Definitely. Like, definitely you can have a little and still get a lot and think outside of where you at. Don't think just in that circumstance. Sure. And I appreciate you being on the show, man. Appreciate talking to you. Definitely gonna listen to some of your earlier albums and check them out. Definitely gotta listen to King of Indiana, because I seen that, like, that was your first, like, when I looked you up, that was one of the first things, like, the King of Indiana, and I heard you say you didn't name it that because of being the King of Indiana.
Nah,
but when you have that, when you put that there, you definitely gotta show your ass when you have an album like that.
For sure, and that's a fact, and I realized that after the fact. You know what I mean? My buddy was telling me, like, bro, I get what your intentions were, bro, but everybody ain't gonna see that, so you got to be ready to stand on that. And I was like, all right, fuck it. But I mean, I did the work on the album. You know what I mean? So I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I'm content with that. But the other shit, I had to realize like, okay, well, I said what I said.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I gotta stand on it.
Yeah, definitely. So, again, appreciate you, man. Hope everything that you deserve happens this year. Hope you blow up off this album because it's really a dope album where I think it could go big. You can get notarized and notified and all the different stuff all over, not just here in Indianapolis, but all over the world. Like, it's that dope of an album. I've definitely shared it with some people, told some people you on there, check out the album because, yeah, like I said, I am definitely not gonna listen to something if it's not hot. So it definitely is.
Appreciate you.
I still figuring out how to say this last part, but you got any closing words? I don't like. I feel like church when I say closing words. Like we at the end of
Closing
church.
remarks.
Yeah, closing remarks.
Nah, I just want to say I appreciate you for having me, bro. I hope people who are watching this are inspired to go check out the album. I just want to say thank you to my supporters personally, and even the people who don't support, people who hate, like you, inspiration too. I'll take that. You know what I mean? Any attention is good attention for the most part. And just thank you, bro. Thank you for letting me get on your platform, man. And I hope I can reciprocate the support somehow.
No, appreciate it. And on that note, peace, one love.
Cool. And it's right. I hope it be under